And hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, our first post-NFL draft episode. I am your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corwin.
And today, like I just said, we'll be talking about the NFL draft. However, we will be limiting today's conversation to just the first round. We want to do a deeper dive in our Thursday episode. So today we're going to be talking about impressions from round one from Thursday the 25th.
We're recording this on Friday at 5 o'clock, so about 2 hours before the draft starts. So you're going to be listening to this after the rest of the draft happens. Meanwhile, we have no idea what's going on, so just an FYI.
Although apparently neither do the Giants. Oh.
Okay. Looks like we're jumping right into that one.
Before we do, here is an ad from our friends over at Sports Trebuchet.
Do you like to talk about sports?
Do you like podcasts?
Do you like talking about professional wrestling?
Do you like medieval weaponry?
Then check us out at Sports Trebuchet on Twitter or listen to us, Sports Trebuchet on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or anywhere you listen.
And we're back.
Speaking of Sports Trebuchet, those motherfuckers have the worst comebacks. Talking shit about my boy Devin Bush, throwing shade, couldn't come back at me.
You didn't have anything for that either. All you had was gifs and memes. Lazy.
And I was very drunk while I was doing it.
Oh, that's good.
So actually, before we jump in, I made a drinking game with my roommate Dan for the draft. It was a drink for every pick I got wrong in our mock draft.
Ooh.
2 drinks for every time I called a pick when they were on the clock. 3 drinks for every one I got right, which was 4, by the way. Finish your drink if the Giants don't take a quarterback. And 1 drink for every time I call out a team. Fucking idiots.
You got drunk, didn't you?
Yeah, I drank a lot of 40s. Not a lot of 40s. I drank a 40 very quickly and stopped drinking after that because it's finals week and I can't be hungover today.
Yeah, makes sense. But all right, we only got about 30 minutes because we got to kind of we both have things we got to do in our lives. This isn't all we do. We're people. So let's jump right on in. What are some of your biggest takeaway? What's the big takeaway you want to start with today?
I feel like it should be Daniel Jones because that's what everybody's talking about. Giants, they've been rumored to be taking him forever. Everyone was like, ha ha ha, that'd be hilarious if the Giants would take him.
I
we know
just started hearing about him yesterday. That was like a rumor?
Yeah.
Wow.
People have been talking about Daniel Jones going to the Giants since like January, but every time it was brought up, it's like, the Giants aren't dumb enough to do that. Like, that'd be funny, ha ha ha, but it'll never happen. It happened. I woke up today and he still was taken at 6, so it wasn't a bad dream. I just don't know what the fuck their plan is. I just have zero faith in that franchise and front office.
So do I. And the thing that drives me insane about it is listening to people try to justify it. Because the only excuse I've heard that like people will give credence to is like, well, if he was their man, then why risk waiting until 17? And like, I'm sorry, but that's stupid as fuck. That's lazy. You could say that about literally Mr. Irrelevant, whoever gets drafted with the very last pick of the 7th round of the NFL draft. If the Giants took that person at 6, you could still say, I just wanted to make sure they got him. Because the thing is, draft boards and understanding the room and understanding where people are going to fall is important so you get value out of picks. And they might have fucking loved Daniel Jones and taken him with the first overall pick if they had it. But the fact of the matter is that they didn't. They had a mid-round, first-round pick. And guess what? There's other fucking quarterbacks. You shouldn't be so infatuated with one fucking guy that you're willing to just blow an entire pick. And I'm sorry, but Daniel Jones could end up working out splendidly for them. It's still a waste of a pick at that spot.
We're going to dive so much more into Daniel Jones, but apparently jump way more into it for our follow-up episode. But apparently Dave Gettleman watched him play his 3 drives at the Senior Bowl, and that was
I heard this.
To fall in love. I can't even go in deeper just because it's going to be the entire episode.
It's the college
really-
version of the Pro Bowl. It's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's,
Three
the
drives.
practices
Three
are
drives.
super
He couldn't
useful. The
reference his
game is
3
not.
years starting at Duke. 3 drives is what he brought up in that interview. It made no fucking sense.
All right, we got to save it for the next episode because we will genuinely talk 45 minutes about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, we will.
But what you were saying about valuing the pick and making it be a reach, even though it's your guy, is exactly how I feel about Oakland's pick with Clelin Ferrell.
Oh God, yes. What the fuck? I didn't. Oh my God.
Get that Mayock loved Ferrell. I don't know how you pronounce it.
They said Furl
But-
in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you could have packaged one of your later picks to move up and still taken just an absolute banger of a pick at 4. I don't get it, but I don't hate it either. I hate Daniel Jones. I hate that pick. I don't hate Daniel Jones personally. I hate the pick. I don't hate the Clelin Ferrell. I don't like it. Moving on. At this point, the Cardinals are keeping Josh Rosen as well. The rumor is that he's going to go to Miami tonight during the draft. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, by the time everyone will hear this, they'll know what happened. So let's.
Yeah, exactly.
So just we'll save that for the Thursday episode when we have something to say about it if it does end up going down. But Kyler Murray, I mean, we literally predicted this would. Or I guess you anyway. Literally predicted this would happen. I'm like still a little bit surprised though. Honestly, I still don't like it.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It's like. It's usually the first pick in the draft. You want to be like, I love this. That's the best player on the board. Home run hitter. Like, this was perfect. And I'm just still kind of like, all right, you have Kyler Murray. What are you going to do now? You have to take a wide receiver at 33, which we'll see if they do tonight. I just don't know where that team's going to go.
And that offensive line is
I'm
still
not sure about
shambles.
this. Yeah. Moving on, the next one I have on here, DeAndre Baker, who the Giants traded back into the end of round 1 to grab him. I think this is going to be Eli Apple 2.0. I think you reached on a quarterback that isn't even the best corner in the draft. I get that you like him. You took him too early. You didn't need to trade up for him. I just don't know how well he's going to work out in the NFL. I just don't know if he has physically what it takes. I don't love that pick. He was like my 3rd or 4th cornerback. The Redskins. Holy shit, the Redskins draft was literally as the best they could have possibly done. This is phenomenal. Getting Dwayne Haskins at 15 without having to move, mind-blowing. So much value, and then trading up to get Montez Sweat at 26, who should have gone 20 picks earlier. Just such fantastic value for them.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
I'm
he fell
sorry.
that far.
I'm so sorry, Dan Snyder. I talk so much shit about you. You're still a dumbass and a bad person, and I hate you, but you did good here.
Yeah, he really did.
The Seahawks trading back the way they did, like what happened with the Frank Clark trade, they're just trying to build draft capital. Doing it again. They are just rebuilding this team, and they're doing such a great job doing it. I don't love their pick with LJ Collier. I felt like they could have gotten him in the 2nd. But at the end of the day, you got to replace Frank Clark. You do it with a guy who is compared to a 2-legged tarantula when he comes to rushing the passer.
What does that mean?
You know what? I genuinely don't know, but it's such a great it's just such a great analogy for something.
But is
that I
it
felt
like
I had to
tarantulas
say.
have 8 legs, so a 2-legged tarantula would be a severely crippled animal? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you could really dig into this if you want.
This is like it's just like when Scott Boras makes all of his boat metaphors in baseball, and everyone just sits around going, "But what does this mean, Scott? What does this mean?"
We get
a
a Scott, you're on a
2-legged
boat.
tarantula. That's oh man, we're gonna have to dig into that on Thursday.
Let's see. Jawan Taylor. So I had him going. Where did I have Jawan Taylor? I had him going 17, which was actually on the low end of the spectrum for where people were projecting him to go. It turns out he has a pretty serious knee injury that is just coming to light now, which is why he's fallen to the 2nd round. People are starting to project him now to go very early. That's what the rumor mill is churning out. We'll see what ends up happening, but that would be the big reason why he fell the way he did. Next on my list is the Steelers trade, but I'm actually going to save that for last. Atlanta's O-line. Holy shit, that is a scary group of people. You have, let's see, let me just pull this up here. So we have Chris Lindstrom going at 14, which I thought was a little bit of a reach, but at the end of the day, he is an excellent guard, the best one in the draft. Take him at 14 to shore it up. And then they trade back up and take Caleb McGarry out of Washington with the 31st pick. The actual player, I don't love him. I didn't do a ton of time actually looking at him in the pre-draft process. But their offensive line with McGarry, Lindstrom, Alex Mack at center. You got Jake Matthews at right tackle and another first-round pick at right guard. I'm just forgetting his name. That's going to be a scary O-line for Devonta Freeman now. I think that offense is going to be pumping next year. And that's going to be just – there's going to be canyons for what's his name?
Devonta Freeman?
Devonta Freeman to run through next year. Ravens offense.
But the Marquise Brown pick?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a wild offense.
I can't believe he went to 25 too. Like this, just as an aside, real quick, this draft seemed bizarre, right?
Yeah, it was weird. There wasn't any outside of like Daniel Jones and a couple of other picks. Like there was no huge reaches, but at the same time, it felt like a weird draft from start to finish. Like there was like no trades early on. There was a ton late, and maybe it's just because I was very drunk at this point, but the end of the draft just seemed crazy to me.
Yeah, it felt like it never had a good flow. Like it didn't. You're right. Like it never felt, aside from a few picks, like anyone was reaching. But then you had like these weirdly like really talented players going so much later than everyone thought they were going to, just because of all the not huge reaches. I don't know. It just felt weird.
There were 10 trades involved in the final 12 picks.
Yeah, that's true. That shit was
That's
madness.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marquise Brown working with Lamar Jackson. You have Gus Edwards and Kenneth Dixon in that backfield. You have a pretty sturdy and sizable offensive line. Outside of Marquise Brown, you don't really have any wide receivers. I honestly don't even know how that's going to function as an offense next year. It's going to be a wild experiment to watch. I hope it doesn't work out for the Ravens for personal reasons, but it'll definitely be interesting. Let's see. What else do we got? N'Keal Harry with New England. It's the first time they've ever drafted a wide receiver in the first round. He was my number 2 wide receiver, and guess what? He's playing with Tom fucking Brady. So just fuck everybody else, I guess. They're going to go on and win the 9th Super Bowl in a row, and there's nothing we can do to stop them.
Is N'Keal Harry black?
Very.
Then he's not going to succeed on the Patriots. I mean, let's be real here. Name me a good produced black wide receiver on the Patriots that's not Randy Moss.
Okay, I was waiting for that little exception at the end because I was like, seriously, Josh? For real? I definitely can, but I choose not to.
Yeah, no, he'll
yeah.
Soon, he's gonna roll up to fucking first week of the NFL season looking like some Sammy Sosa ass motherfucker, just to job at that fucking team.
Jesus Christ, that was good.
Thank
That
you.
was really good.
I'm glad you got that.
So for people who don't know, Sammy Sosa was a very good black baseball player for the Cubs.
Dominican, but yeah.
I just said black.
No, keep going.
But okay. Who progressively over time he's a white guy now. And it wasn't like a huge jump like with Michael Jackson. It just every year he just got a little bit lighter.
Yeah, he literally bleached his skin.
Yeah. What a weird guy.
Yeah, what can you do? All right, so what do we got next here?
You have any big takeaways from the first that we didn't cover?
Not particularly, because I'm not just up with the college ball as you are. I was mentally prepared for the Quentin Williams pick, so he immediately endeared himself to me with his post drafted interview, because that dude just, wow, is he likable. Holy shit.
Big baby.
Yeah.
He's a big baby.
I would like to say I'm not a big fan of ESPN constantly bringing up like people's torrid pasts seemingly for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be a scouting report and it'll be like, really great combine results, a ton of sacks or whatever. Mom died as a kid. And it's just like, whoa, like, don't put this man on blast like that. Like, like, this is the happiest day of his life. Quit bringing up the fact his mother's dead. Like, that can come out. We can talk about that later. Like, this is just weird, man.
Yeah. Like the stuff they did with Jeffrey Simmons, who had the altercation with his sister in the past. The second he got picked, Trey Wingo was like, all right, well, this kid beat the shit out of a girl when he was younger. Here's the video. Okay, he said he's sorry. And granted, I love Jeffrey Simmons. I think he's one of the best players in the draft. He's also shown throughout this entire process how much better of a person he's grown to be over the years, and how sorry he was for the incident. I feel like there really wasn't a huge need to drag him through the mud like that, literally seconds after he's drafted.
No, I just don't get going into these guys' pasts like that. I think it's super weird. Big takeaways for me. Watching Raiders fans react to the Clelin Ferrell pick was hilarious. Wow.
The one guy who put up his HUD and like
walked away,
moved
just
across
walked
the screen.
away.
It was just like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Puts up his HUD and walks away. I was dying on the couch when that happened.
Same thing with Daniel Jones, and the Giants fans' reaction was priceless. Wow.
Oh, did you see the video of the inside MetLife Stadium when the pick was made?
Yep.
That was so great.
Yeah.
Dan and I probably spent like an hour today just looking at reaction GIFs or videos of all these different like wild picks.
I thought that the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Josh Allen was so fucking lucky, and god damn it, do I hate them.
Yeah. It's brutal.
I forget. No, I remember now. So you had T.J. Hawkinson, who was the pick right after that.
Yes.
Tight end went to the Lions, going to the Jaguars. I forget though. Who did you have going to the Lions? Like what position anyway?
Edge rusher.
So how
Brian Burns,
do you
who ended
feel
up going,
that they went to the other side of the ball, went tight end? Because I thought that was interesting.
For Detroit?
Yeah.
It definitely fills a huge need. If
I guess they don't have
my mock
Ebron.
draft,
Ebron's
if I went
Indianapolis now.
anywhere else with Jacksonville, I would have put Hawkinson at Detroit at 8. But I mean, it fits them so well. They really just haven't had that kind of player in such a long time. I know Ebron never really worked out for them. Kind of shined last year with the Colts, but I really like that pick.
How do you think Dwayne Haskins getting drafted by the Redskins affects Case Keenum starting this season? Do you think he does, or gets shipped, or is the backup?
I think Keenum will start as the starting QB, and I think it'll be like a Sam Darnold thing last year, where he takes over very quickly.
Okay.
Because Josh McCown started the season starting, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay. I think it's going to be a
no,
scenario
wait,
like
no,
that.
he didn't. Sorry, no, he didn't. No, Sam Darnold took over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sam Darnold took over immediately. It's tough because he got injured like week 3 or so,
Right.
and McCown ended up starting a couple games here or there.
Regardless, whatever scenario where a veteran starter started and then the rookie took over, that's the scenario I'm saying.
Okay. And then I wanted to loop back to your opinion of the Steelers trading up to get Devin Bush, because we moved past it and I wanted to hear about it.
I fucking lost it. I was so fucking happy that the Steelers moved up for Bush. I was like, I saw the lights on the video, like the signage behind the podium changed to like the yellow, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why they have the yellow up for Denver. And it showed the Steelers, and Dan just like grabbed me and was like, oh my god, they did it. And I was just in such utter shock. I started screaming. I was so excited. I love this trade so much. I know this guys at Sports Trebuchet said that it's an overpay, but a second and a third round pick to move up into the top 10 to fill by far the biggest need on this team with really a player that's so above and beyond anyone else below him. Like the drop off between Devin White and Devin Bush and like the Mac Wilsons and everyone below there at middle linebacker, inside linebacker, it's so big. I'm so glad we did this. We should still be able to grab like a nice cornerback at the beginning of the third with 66. I am ecstatic that the Steelers actually made a big draft day trade. I'm so happy.
So you brought up something I want to talk about really quickly before we transition into the kind of conclusion of today, is that it was a position of need for the Steelers because I got into an argument with Pete right before the draft saying that the Giants should take a quarterback with the 6th pick, and he was like, absolutely not. I want Josh Allen. What? And I'm like, you're fucking stupid. You guys need a quarterback. And he got into an argument with me saying NFL teams don't draft based on need. And I wanted to rip his throat out because that makes no fucking sense to me. And like
Pete said this?
Yes, who is an avid NFL fan.
Was he drunk when he said it?
Absolutely not. Stone cold sober. And I've just never I was so dumbfounded that I just didn't. Yeah, because, you know, the first round pick every year is always the best pick in the draft. Never anything else. And then when Kyler Murray got picked, I was like, yeah, because I texted him back. Like, yeah, Kyler Murray's the best pick and the best player in the entirety of the draft. Nobody else. And then his team went off to go draft Daniel fucking Jones, and I gave him a world of crap for it.
I just want to point out that the Giants, their entire draft day strategy was filling holes created by trading away their best players.
But filling holes is what the draft is there for. Like I
know, but like they traded away.
No, I know what you mean. I'm just so
players.
flabbergasted.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me. I was so mad.
Yeah, Pete, you're wrong on that one, bud.
Now, if you're like a total like no talent rebuilding team, like the Browns were like a few seasons ago, yeah, just take the best player. You're all holes. You have nothing to work on.
There's definitely certain scenarios where just taking the best player available is the best move.
Of course.
Early on in the draft, there's just certain players that are so above and beyond need that you have to take them. But at the same time, like you can't be drafting a quarterback if you're, if you're the Jets at 3, you can't be taking Daniel Jones or Dwayne Haskins at 3 if you're the Jets. You might have had him higher on your board, but you have a quarterback. You're not taking the best player available there if it's a quarterback.
Exactly.
You have to fill some need.
Exactly. Let's say that the 12th best pick in the draft was Dwayne Haskins. The Packers aren't taking Dwayne Haskins.
No.
Like, that'd be fucking stupid. So I just wanted to make sure that I was justified in giving my friend Pedro a lot of crap for that comment. So that's this.
Make sure Petey Boy listens to this episode.
I've been hounding him about it.
I'm right now. I'm looking at the trophy that is named after him. That's in my house and not his.
Yeah, and he resents that every day. All right.
Just a little background info on that. Our fantasy football league trophy is named the Pete E. Sidmer Memorial Trophy because he took over a team mid-season, took them all the way to the championship, and then lost on a technicality.
Yeah,
I wanted to honor that with a trophy.
It was very fun. Let's wrap up here.
Right.
Tell me about these favorite picks, best value, biggest reach, and worst picks. Tell me what you got for these.
Favorite picks. I love the Devin Bush pick, the Steelers. I thought that filled the biggest
Shocker.
need. Right. I mean, for all the picks that filled needs, I thought inside linebacker for the Steelers was the biggest filling of a need for a team. Little bias there, but that's fine. Love that pick. And then Josh Allen to the Jaguars. Just such tremendous value, filling a hole on that defensive line. That defensive front is just so badass. I can't wait to watch them play. What's your favorite pick, Josh?
It's Corwin Williams because I'm a Jets fan who doesn't know anything. So like it's whoever my team took. That's now my guy.
Honestly, that's still a good thing to have as a best pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah, that's the thing is it just happens to work out really well this year. So actually, it's worked out for the Jets for like the last few seasons. That like the quote unquote best pick has just been like fallen to us. So I'm not going to complain.
It's crazy. For best value, I had to put a combo up of just both the Redskins picks, taking Haskins and Sweat. It's just insane that they were able to do what they did in the draft in the first round. Such utterly tremendous value. I can't stress it enough. They fucking killed it.
For a value pick, what do you think about Jonah Williams falling to 11 with the... I'm not sure if you can say falling, but going at 11 to the Bengals.
Right.
I kind of assumed he'd be a top 10 guy, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a value pick, but falling only, like, you know, I was thinking he would go around, like, what was it, like 7 or 8, whatever it was.
Sure.
I had him going at 10 to Buffalo, and instead he went 11 to Cincinnati, or 9 to Buffalo, and then 11 to Cincinnati. I don't think it's just as big of a reach as some other players. Or big of a fall as some other players.
I get what you mean. And then what do you think about the first wide receiver being taken at 25, Marquise Brown to the Ravens? Do you see that as being like a value pick or just like accurate?
I actually just think that's accurate.
Okay.
I didn't have him going that high just because I thought teams would shy away from someone of his size, being like he'll never top out over like 175 pounds. He's just way too small of a guy.
That's fine.
But, man, does he have skill. So I think that's a perfectly reasonable place to pick him.
Tell me about your biggest reach,s
Daniel Jones and DeAndre Baker.
Shockers.
I think both of I think both of these guys would be available at the Giants' next pick without having to trade at all. I don't think either of them are necessarily very good values at where they were picked as well. Honestly, I don't even think there's many redeeming qualities for either. I mean, Baker at least will be able to start as a cornerback for them and play for a decent while. I just don't think he would have been the best option there. Meanwhile, I'm not sure if Daniel Jones is even going to be starting in 2 years.
Which brings us to the next category, worst pick.
Yeah, worst pick. There's really not a lot of debate here. It's Daniel Jones. I'd love for him to work out. He really actually came on as being a guy for me where I thought, man, like if this guy goes to a good team at the end of the first, I think he could actually turn out to be something. If he can sit and learn and, you know, really learn the craft.
All those adages.
Yeah, exactly. All those cliches. But going 6 to the Giants, he's going to get pushed into that role way too early. He's going to have way too much pressure put on him. I just don't see it being a scenario where he pans out the way the Giants expect him to. Even if Gil Brandt thinks he's fucking Peyton Manning. But that's another story.
Yeah, it's going to be rough out there for Big Blue for a few years, isn't it?
It's going to be rough for a long time.
Yeah, that's okay. They've had it too good for too long, my friend. New York's going to turn into a Jets town. Just you wait till there's a sea of green out there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what this is like. I don't understand it. So
it just
because even when
no,
go ahead.
There's just no chance the Giants are even able to draft a quarterback for like 3 or 4 years. And they're just going to be in such a hole by the time that happens that it's going to take a long time to rebuild this team.
Well,
this was a big issue.
What I think is going to be interesting, and we can close on this thought since we got to run, is if the Giants suck a fat wad next season and Dwayne Haskins doesn't start, it makes you wonder if they're going to take another quarterback. Because if they suck a fat wad this upcoming season and Haskins, or not Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones doesn't start, I should say. That means that they didn't feel good enough about playing him in a lost season, which means they have no faith in him to progress ever. And then they're going to be they're going to have a good draft spot, which means that they'd be primed to take a new quarterback a la the Arizona Cardinals. And if that happens, they need to fire David Gettleman.
That won't happen unless Dave Gettleman is fired. if Dave Gettleman is still picking for them in the 2020 draft, there's no chance he's even allowed to take a quarterback.
They are just so massively fucked.
Like the sunk cost in that would just be way too much. Almost like, a team trading up to number 10 last year to pick Josh Rosen and then drafting a quarterback first overall. Just way too much sunk cost.
Yeah. It hurts to even think about. But let's get out of here for the day.
One more thing I want to say,
right.
just because we talked about Daniel Jones being sold to Dave Gettleman from his Senior Bowl performance.
Yep.
The last 3 Senior Bowl game MVPs have been Daniel Jones, Kyle Lauletta, and Davis Webb, who were 3 quarterbacks taken by the Giants in each of the past 3 drafts.
Yep, and they ain't shit. Lauletta's currently the backup, and Davis Webb is currently on the Jets practice squad.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What a world. Way to go, Gettleman.
Yeah, he's a real winner. All right, but let's get on out of here. We'll hit all you guys back up on Thursday with a deeper dive into what happened in the entirety of the draft, since it'll be concluded by that point, and we can get into more of it then. If you want to reach us on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. If you want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And if you want to find our website, you can do so at juicingthenumbers.wixsite.com/website. And we'll speak to you guys again on Thursday. Take care.
Bye.